so that we don't miss out on the video. Okay, good afternoon, and I'm mostly, if you're from India or from Singapore or anywhere, it's a good afternoon now, so a warm good afternoon to everybody. My name is Lohit. Welcome to one more webinar from Telerik India. Today we're going to be talking an interesting concept or interesting topic here. It's the new enterprise mobile capabilities with Telerik Platform. If you have not known us, we are Telerik, and then we have a Telerik mobile platform. We call it as Telerik Platform. Also, we support you A to Z in your mobility journey. We like to call our platform. We like to call the platform as every step of your mobile journey accelerated. You know, starting from design to building to connecting to a database to measuring. To getting feedback, to deploying, to managing the application, you name it. So the app journey of your mobile development, we're going to be helping you in each stage, and we accelerate your productivity in each stage. So today we're going to be focusing more on a couple of features that we have released as part of our new enterprise capabilities within the platform itself. If you have been a regular, you would have known about me by now. My name is Lohit Jian. For those of you who are coming here for the first time, I'm a technical evangelist with Telerik in India. I am also a Microsoft MVP in ASP.NET. That's my official email ID, lohit.nagaraj at telerik.com. I'm available on Twitter as Kashyapa, K-S-H-Y-A-P-A. Those are some of the websites. You can take a look at it. And TelerikHelper.net is a website where we normally put up all our content in terms of the webinars that we do, the schedules for the webinars, the recording for the webinar, the slide decks. Everything is available on TelerikHelper.net, and www.telerik.com is the global website for Telerik as a company. So you may want to take a look at telerik.com for all the products that we have, the suites that we have. So what's the agenda for today? Well, we have quite an agenda for today to cover. We start with something known as data connectors, then we look at screen builder, then we talk about how we provide offline support, then we take a look at app manager live sync and native app. So that's the interesting piece that I'm more looking forward to. You can develop a native mobile application with just JavaScript knowledge. Yes, it's not a web view or it's not a hybrid application, but rather it's a truly native Android and iOS. But you as a developer need not know Objective-C or Swift or Java, no, nothing. All you need to know is JavaScript, and you should know a little bit of XML. How do you write an XML document, right? So that's an interesting piece. We're going to be looking at that also. Then at the end, we'll wrap it up with as one of the interesting pieces that we will be announcing soon. That's the application template. So when we come out with this marketplace called App Template Marketplace, you will be able to just come into our marketplace and then look out for templates. It's a full-fledged app template. You just download and then start building on that, and then it's a full-fledged A to Z availability. So you can pretty much download and then build your own app, just change the colors, and then you have a full working website or a mobile application. So that's an agenda for today. So why did we call this as enterprise capabilities, or enterprise capabilities within the platform, right? So what do we mean by enterprise customers? What is this particular segment called enterprise customers? So let's take a look at the definition. A lot of discussion went inside our the company itself as to what is it that we want to support the enterprise. So what do we mean by enterprise? What is this enterprise customers for us as a company? So it boils down to simple things. Enterprise customers are those that must develop apps. It may be a mobile and web, but they're developing these apps in a complex IT environment with a requirement to integrate with existing systems and data sources. That's the key. You're not just coming in and saying file new project and then done, I'm done with the application, let me just put it on, but rather you typically work with a complex IT environment wherein you have a requirement that I already have a database, I already have a data store, now connect to that and then create a mobile application. often what happens is you're working in larger teams involving many stakeholders, right? You have your business guys, you have your customer, you have the development team, you have the testing team. So what does it these all these factors make you, or all these factors lead to what is known as an enterprise customer. I want to develop a mobile or a web application, and in a complex IT environment, integrate with existing systems and data sources. I work with a large team involving many stakeholders, right? So that's this segment, or that's what we mean by enterprise customer. So that is what an enterprise customer for us is all about. Now, so what is the mobile potential for enterprise, right? So why should an enterprise start looking at mobility, or develop mobile application? So mobile applications or mobile landscape provides you a completely new way of engaging your customers. It's now what used to be just a browser, a PC browser, be it your Windows PC or a Macintosh or whatever it is. So if you were engaging with your customers only in a browser, now you have other ways to engage with your customer on their phones, where so they have their phones, they have their smartphones, they like to quickly get onto your application, maybe when they're commuting, or maybe when they're on mobile, and then they want to just engage with you, or they want to play around with your app, right? So this is the way you can engage your customers on a mobile. Plus you can modernize and mobilize your internal process. So for example, if a project manager is on the move, he's traveling between two offices, and then suddenly somebody sitting inside one office needs his approval. Well, do you wait for him to come back to his desktop, open up the browser, log into your particular whatever applications that are there, and then approve? You may lose 2 hours there, right? Instead, if he had a mobile application, although he was on the move, he could just get into that mobile app and say approve or reject or whatever he wants to do. So that is what we mean by modernize and mobilize your internal processes. Plus you can transform and reimagine the business itself, right? Now mobile provides you completely new business landscape. It's a completely new business world out there. You can now start engaging, or although you engage with them, you can also have your commerce going on, e-commerce going on the mobile itself. So that's what these are some of the potential that the enterprise has now, engaging customers in new ways, modernizing and mobilizing internal processes, transforming and reimagining the business completely on a mobile landscape. Now, it's not easy. There are key challenges in enterprise mobility, right? Of course, everything comes with a challenge. So what are those, right? According to Gartner, by 2017, I believe, you will have 5 to 10 mobile apps for a single web or a desktop app. So inside the enterprise, you may have your own web application, or you may have your own desktop app, but you will be surprised to know that there will be 5 to 10 mobile apps that you may have to develop for that single web or desktop app. So this is the kind of a prediction that Gartner has done in 2015. Plus 50% of mobile enterprise apps will be rewritten by 2017. So that's another prediction that Gartner has done. And 71% timely delivery of apps, biggest challenge for large enterprises. So it is still a problem. The timely delivery is still a problem. So enterprise need more apps, better apps, and then they want it delivered fast. So these are some of the challenges, but if you look at it in the other way, these are the opportunities that you have, right? But not only is a enterprise mobility challenge, the development teams are also challenged, right? Somebody will say, oh, it's good mobile developers are hard to find. We waste cycles in the design phase. Our apps are not being adopted. Our integration into our backend system is difficult. Great UI development resources are scarce. There are too many devices to test. So some of the challenges that even the development team face, right? So what we would like to tell you is, like, developer productivity plus the business engagement plus the data enablement is nothing but enterprise mobility success. So you should be able to connect your existing data stores or data sources, and then you should be able to engage with the business also, the business stakeholders. Plus you as a developer would need to be fast, or in terms like the tools that you use should help you to create faster application, develop apps faster. So that's some of the things that led to we going and then enabling some of the features which will help an enterprise developer or enterprise teams. That's what we're going to be looking at today. So just to give you a brief, we are not talking complete Telerik platform today. I already done a couple of webinars where I explain what exactly is Telerik platform. I encourage you to go take a look at them. Just to give you a 10,000 feet view of what is Telerik platform all about, it's an open and modular architecture. You can develop to any screen on any device. As you can see on the top, we support PC browser, we support the tablet browsers, we have the phone, the even the wearables. So how do we support that? On web, we have HTML5, the Java, JSP, PHP, the .NET. We support control. We have controls for all these things. On a hybrid landscape, we have a hybrid HTML5 based hybrid framework called as Kendo UI. On native side, we also support iOS, Android, and then Windows Phone. So we have controls for all this native controls for all this platforms. When it comes to application development tools, for the application building itself, for prototyping, for the UI libraries, for the IDE, we have something known as App Builder. If you want to test the functional debugging live sync, we also have Telerik Mobile Testing Framework. For productivity, of course, there are cloud build tools. For example, with one button click, you will be able to generate an Android or an iOS or a Windows Phone package, all with one single button click, no installation, nothing required. When it comes to certain core services, we do allow you to integrate with your existing data stores. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. So there is a standard and custom connectors. So when I say standard, if you're using our Telerik backend services that we provide, we already have SDKs available which do the connectivity. Otherwise, if you are looking for connecting to your own data stores like a SQL Server or Oracle or PostgreSQL or MySQL, we also have a connector for that. Of course, as I said, we also have a mobile backend. All you need to do is just come in, create a table, that's it, and then you have the backend available with the REST services readily built. We allow you messaging, there is push notification, we allow you social logins, we provide user management, it is secure. And we also provide you analytics and feedback. If you want to measure how your app is doing, we have Telerik Analytics, which will give you a lot of metrics about your application itself. If you want to gather feedback from your mobile apps itself, we have a plugin. The end user just has to shake his phone and you will be able to, we will bring in the feedback component or the feedback UI that we have, and then it's easier for somebody to send you a feedback. So the Telerik platform is available on a public cloud at platform.telerik.com. If you want to go ahead and then take a look at it, we can give you as a private cloud also. You just have to talk to us, get in touch with us. We will be able to create a private cloud for us. And if your company wants to install the Telerik platform on your premises, on your infrastructure, well, we do have the on-premise version of Telerik platform, so you just have to talk to us. The public cloud is available at platform.telerik.com. Just go ahead and then sign up, and then you will be able to actually do whatever I do now. Next 40 minutes, whatever I do, you will be able to do that. So as I said, the whole mobile app journey is design, build, connect, test, manage, measure, deploy. So the Telerik platform supports you in each of these stages, and you pretty much, as I said, we pretty much accelerate each phase of your mobile app journey, right? So this is just a 10,000 feet overview of what exactly is Telerik platform all about, open and modular. Note that if you just want to use our backend, you can use our backend as a standalone. You do not have to have the other pieces. You don't have to use the other piece. If you want to just use our app builder to build mobile application and do not use backend, yeah, you can do that. So that's why we say it's an open and modular architecture. Each piece that we provide or each service that we provide in Telerik platform is like a Lego block. If you want, you take two pieces and then join together, or you can work with a single piece and then get away with that. Now, coming to the interesting part, the first one are the data connectors, which are powered by Progress Data Direct now. Just to give you a background regarding this, so as I said, we have a mobile backend as a service available in Telerik Platform, or MBAS as it typically known as in the mobile world. MBAS stands for Mobile Backend as a Service. So our backend is known as Telerik backend, and out of the box, our Telerik backend already supports connecting to a on-premise SQL Server or Oracle or MySQL or PostgreSQL through a concept known as data connector. So this is out of the box. We give you something known as data link server. You take the data link server, install it closer to your data store, maybe a SQL Server or Oracle, and make sure that that data link server, by the way, the data link server is just a web application. It can be installed on a Windows server or it can be installed on a Linux server. That data link server needs to be exposed to internet. Why? Because our Telerik backend, the platform that we have, should be able to ping your data link server. Through that, we create a relay, and whenever your mobile apps need a service, it pings the backend goes and then pings the data link server and says, give me the data. Data link server is on your premises. It will go execute the data, whatever query that you want, and then get you the data in a JSON format. So with data connectors, you can connect your legacy data in secure and restful way. If you're thinking of creating CRUD services for yourself, like, I've seen a lot of developers saying like, oh, I can build the REST service by myself. Yes, well, you're going to spend next 6 months making sure that it works absolutely without any problem. It is secure and all those things. So good luck with that. It's not easy. So gone are the days where you have to build. You just have to adopt whatever is there. So that's where we come in. Take a subscription of Telerik Platform, you get the backend, use the connector, you will be up and running in minutes. I can guarantee you that, within a minute, I can actually access the data that is stored inside your premises. All you need is our data connector, install data link server, and then you're done. Now, we understand that many enterprises have many data connectivity or data stores or data sources, right? It's just not SQL Server, Oracle, or MySQL, or PostgreSQL. Somebody may have a Salesforce. Somebody may have, I don't know, Cassandra, right? So what we are trying to do is with Progress acquiring Telerik, now we get all the goodness of Progress. Progress already has something, software known as Data Direct. And Data Direct is the leader in data connectivity. It is much more faster than any of the driver that you can think of. So with Data Direct capability now, what we are trying to do is integrate Data Direct within our platform so that the data link server or the platform, the backend itself will now be able to connect to variety of data sources. So that's coming up. Currently, out of the box, we are supporting 4 data sources, but we will be able to come in and then give you more data connectivity in over the time. So this is how it looks, or this is how it works. So we have Telerik Platform MBAS, or the backend service, and you have the firewall or whatever it is. You are on your premises, and on your infrastructure you already have maybe your SQL Server or Oracle or MySQL or PostgreSQL. So we give you Telerik Data Link Server. You install it within your premises on a Windows or a Linux server. Make sure the Data Link Server, which is a web application, is accessible to the internet, and our mobile backend as a service will be able to communicate with this Data Link Server, and then you can now be able to get the REST service readily available. So what do you get currently out of the box? You get connectivity to SQL Server, MySQL, Oracle, PostgreSQL, but look at coming soon. When we do the integration over the time in let's say in 3 months, 6 months down the line, you will be able to connect to variety of data sources: MongoDB, Progress Rolebase, Progress OpenEdge, Sybase, Marketo, Salesforce, IBM, Spark, Dynamics, you name it, because this is all powered by Data Direct. Okay, so now let's quickly take a demo. Get onto the demo now. What I'm going to do is I already have opened up my Telerik platform. So when you go to platform.telerik.com, you may not see this page. It will ask you to log in. So I already logged in. So that's why it knows who I am. If you see here, it says Lohit GN. So I'm going to start by creating an application. As you can see here, in Telerik platform, we allow you to create 3 types of applications: native app, which is supported by the native script. We're going to talk about that later. Hybrid app, which is basically using the HTML5, JavaScript, CSS, and is powered through our Kendo UI. And also you can create a mobile web app. For now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up hybrid app, and then I'm going to say start from a blank app, and then I will call this as okay, I forgot to tell you the case study here. The case study is we are working for a company called as Northwind Traders. So Northwind Traders is a very popular fictitious marketplace. They have a lot of products that they sell, and the products are, let me show you this. So basically they have like pavlova, chai, a lot of products is what they sell. As you can see here, I'm just showcasing two of them, the Chang, which is a beverage, and then Pavlova, which is a confectionery or a sweet. So Northwind Traders have been doing pretty good through their custom or through their web application, traditional web application, and you can see the regional sales status here. So they have been getting sales pretty much all over the US, all over the Europe, all those things. They have been doing pretty well. But as I said, in today's world, you got to be mobile. So what they're trying to do is they already have SQL Server installed on premise, and as you can see, this whole website is powered through their SQL Server, and they want to now get onto mobile, and then they want to make sure that they can reuse or whatever data that is there, the data source that is there. So they have come back to me and then said, help us out. So I said, okay, Telerik Platform can get you started in no time, right? So that's the premise, and we're going to start seeing how this can be done. I'm going to say this is a Northwind Traders project, and I'm just creating a workspace now. So I'll say create an app. So now we will see a couple of things coming up. And as you can see here, I've created the project, and now I see some four gray boxes. It says App Builder Hybrid, Backend Services, Analytics, and then App Feedback, right? So basically, this is nothing but the IDE where you will create the mobile app itself. Now, what I'm interested is I need to get connected to that backend service, backend data store, right? So I'm going to go and then say a create backend services project. So it is asking me, do you want to start from scratch or do you want to start from a friend's app? So we typically, to get you started, we go ahead and then put up a couple of tables for you. When you select the second one, which says start from friend's app, it will have two tables, but instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a scratch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say nwind backend, just a name for the Northwind, and I'm going to say this is nwind backend. I will say create project. Now I'm not going to go deep into what exactly is this portal all about, but I would encourage you to take a look at our previous the webinar. So here what I need is I need to enable the cloud data because I need to manage types here. So as you can see on the right hand side, now I get types and permission. Plus, I need to enable data connector. So this is how you can connect to an existing data. So I'm going to go to data connectors. Now, what I've asked the IT from Northwind Traders is I've asked them to already. So let me show this. So I'm going to go and then say create a data link server. So if you see here, there are two things. It says use existing data link server, set up a new data link server. So when you say set up new data link server, we give you a package which is nothing but a web application which you need to run on your Windows servers or a Linux servers. So I've asked the IT to do that, and then they have enabled or they have exposed that particular machine where data link server is running, and then they've given me this information. They said, hey, this is the IP where you can reach to data link server, and this is the Northwind the connection string. So let me go ahead and say next. I'm going to say nwind SQL Server, and notice here in the type, let me get my zoom it. I always forget. Programs, zoom it. So notice here in the drop down, we have out of the box these four data source available. So now I know it is a SQL Server. So now what I need is, where is the data link server? So the data link server is actually here. So if you see HTTP and all those things, and then it also needs a connection string, and then the IT has given me the connection string. I'm going to go ahead and then put the connection string, and notice we have a test connection here, so I can do a test, and our test connection succeeded. That means now I am in platform.telerik.com, a public cloud, and from our public cloud I've been able to securely connect to a SQL server which is running in a server hosted somewhere inside the Northwind Traders infrastructure, right? So I'm going to click on save. Isn't that cool? We are able to connect to an existing database immediately, instantaneously. Now what does it allow me to do? I can go to types now. Notice here we have two types of types that you can create. When you say create a content type, that means you're creating a table and then it is hosted within our data store that is on the public cloud of Telerik platform. But that is not what I want to do. I want to connect to my connector or to my database which is available in my premises, right? So I'm going to come in here and then say create type from a data connector, right? Notice here our Telerik platform able to identify that we already have a connector, and I remember I gave the name as nWin SQL Server. And that's not it. It is able to go and then get me all the table stored procedures from my Northwind SQL Server database. How cool is that? And notice this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a table, or I'm going to pick up a table called products, and I'm going to name. So let me explain what is happening. This is the source type, and then this is the destination type. So meaning uh, you need to create a table in Telerik backend, but that table will not hold anything. It is just a mirror of the table that you have on premise, so that we can do a relay, or so that we can generate the REST services. So I'll show you now immediately. I will be able to get a REST service now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, go ahead, give me all the columns that you have, and notice here we have been able to deduce what kind of data type is that particular column, number, yes, no, number, all those things. So now let me go and then click save. As soon as I click, we are done with saving this particular table, we will have the REST services available. And notice here what is happening. Oh, I never entered any data, right? I just created the table, but notice here what happened. I'm able to see all the products. Well, that's what I said you. This is just a relay, or this is just a mirror of what the table you have on the premise. So we are just going executing the query. We know you want to see all the products, so we just said select star from products table in the Northwind database, and then we're just showing it here, but we don't hold any data here. Now what does it give me? Let me copy this API key. Let me open up my Postman, that is nothing but a REST client that I normally use, and I'll show you how we expose the REST API for this. So if you go to our documentation, you'll be able to figure out more on this REST API. So documentate backend services and API reference, and we should see a REST API reference here. If you see here, it says development, REST API, and then read, write, everything. So let me pick up a read. And this is how you can actually get to the REST API, right? If you see here, api.evali.com/v1/your API key, and then type a name and all those things. So let me come back to here. So all I need to do is put my API key, and remember we had the products table. So I'm going to just say, go ahead, give me the data. Okay, looks like it's not able to execute, so that's fine. So I'll show you here itself. Types, and we should see products, and the data is coming. So let's do one thing. We'll go ahead and then create one more type. Let's say we're going to create suppliers. I want to know all the suppliers that I want to display in the mobile app. I would want to get all the suppliers that supply this particular are working with Northwind traders so that people know, like, they do have suppliers in their city. So I'm going to pick up suppliers and I will say, I'm going to select everything for now. You don't need to. You can select only those things that you need. Let me check if I'm connected. Yes, I'm connected. So this is as easy it can get, and right, you have your tables, and then you can just come in here, create a connector, and then just say, hey, create that particular two tables. So your mobile app may need only these two tables. Your database may have hundreds of tables, but for the mobile app, you need only maybe product suppliers or maybe one more thing like an order. So you can come in and then create only those two tables in the backend service, and that's it. That is all you need for your mobile application. Now I have products and suppliers, right? So next, we will start seeing how to build a mobile app to this. Now what we have seen is this concept of data connectors. Out of the box, we provide you SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, and then the PostgreSQL, and this is as simple as installing a data link server. We'll give you that data link server. It is a batch file. You just run the batch file on a Windows machine, and on a Linux machine it's just a shell script. So just run the shell script, and then you will have the web application running on a particular port. All you need to do is come into backend, create a if you see here, create the connector here. So the connector needs to know where is your data link server. Connector needs to know what is the connection string to your database. And don't worry, it is all secure. If you notice here, we run under HTTPS, right? It is all a secure connection, and not only that, we give you this authentication key, which you should keep it inside your data link server, so that if anybody else has figured out that you have a data link server and they ping that particular data link server, our data link server will look for the API key. If the API key is not available in the request, it will say, hey, I don't know you. So that means we are secure. That is only your project having this API key can communicate with your data link server. So that's one of the important features that any enterprise developers will need, or enterprise team will need, that is connecting to an existing data source, and it cannot get any simpler than this. Okay, so now screen builder. This is another fantastic feature that we have enabled in the Telerik platform. Building screens visually. I've been a developer for 14 years, and then I never did a drag and drop or all those things. I always coded by hand because that gives me the control, and then I can type fast, and then by the time you drag drop, I would have finished my single line of code. But we understand, not everybody are okay with that, especially in an enterprise scenario. You need to get done fast. You need to get done with things quickly. So it is helpful if there is already some sort of scaffolding available. I know I have to create a screen, so can I just go in and say, hey, create me a screen, and then the code is auto-generated? So that is what we did with Screen Builder. App Builder is our IDE, or integrated development environment for developing hybrid mobile applications. And within the App Builder, we now have a concept of Screen Builder, wherein you develop screens quickly, visually, and you assemble apps out of a pre-built views. We give you pre-built views like sign-in form, register form, a data list, like that, and then you just use that and then say, okay, now create a sign-in form, or now create a register form, like that, and then the Screen Builder will automatically generate the code for you. You do not write a single line of code. You can configure the screens, everything via properties, and not only that, you can connect to data codelessly. Remember, we just created a data connector, right? We just created the products and then suppliers table or the type, and then now I'm going to show you how to connect to that without writing single line of code. That's the whole point of the Screen Builder is all about. You can, of course, you can always customize or tweak or debug by opening this the screens that have been developed by Screen Builder in an App Builder. So App Builder provides you the code first approach of creating a mobile application, hybrid mobile application, and what does Screen Builder help you to do? It jump starts your app development, right? So let me show you how this looks like. So we're going to take a look, we're going to get into the demo, but this is the first glimpse for you how it looks like. Notice here on the left hand side, it says add a view, and on the right hand side you can see here, I can create my custom forms or a data list view or a register screen. So we're going to take a look at that. Not only that, if you are an enterprise customer and you are taken an enterprise license from us for the Telerik platform, we will allow you to extend the screens. You can come in and create your own views. You may have a typical view which all of your projects use within your enterprise. You can actually go and then create a view and then keep it in this toolbox. So when any of your teams in your enterprise you make use of our the platform, and they come in and then say add a view, you can actually bring in your own custom view. So that's available only for enterprise customers. So this is known as extending the screen builder, which is a cool feature actually, if you ask me. So let's take a quick, let's dive into the quick demo here now. What I'm going to do is now Northwind traders, we have showcased that we can connect to the back end of the Northwind traders. We have done a successful connection with the SQL Server. Now it's the time to create the mobile application itself. So if you see here, now this is no more a grave block. Rather, it says Northwind backend. And then notice this database. That means this is the data or the backend for my application, right? Now I'm going to go and then click on App Builder Hybrid, and it is asking me to choose a project template. Notice here we provide a lot of template: blank, Kendo UI drawer, Kendo UI blank, Kendo UI tabs, all those things. Well, today it's not about all these things. It's all about start with Screen Builder. If you notice here, it says start with Screen Builder, and it says create your app views and navigation, connect to data sources in a code-free visual interface. That's it, code-free. That's the key here. And notice what it is asking. Do you want to connect your data? Well, I want to connect my data. So what I can do is, it allows me to create a backend services project when I'm creating the mobile app, or I can connect to an existing backend services project. In our case, if you remember, we already created the backend. So I'm going to go in and then say add an existing backend services project. It is asking me, hey, which one? So I will select. Notice here, we just created. We created Northwind backend, Nwind backend, Northwind traders project. So I'm going to just select that guy, and that's it. And I'm going to say this is Nwind hybrid. So just to or we're going to call it as Nwind app, and we'll say this is hybrid. And I'll say create app. Right now, keep looking at what happens to the browser. The browser will get transformed into completely different user interface now. And did you guys notice one thing? I never had to install anything. Right? I've been in the browser and then I've been working my way through. Well, I created the backend, I went in, connected, got the data, everything is done. Now I'm going in and then creating my front end. So this is for you. For the first time, if you're looking at it, this is Screen Builder. If you're coming in and then trying to create a mobile app, well, yes, this is the Screen Builder. So I already have a home screen, right? On the right-hand side, whatever you're seeing is not a simulation. It is actually a real app, right? I can interact with that. I'll show you that. So maybe I will say, North, or let's make it Northwind Traders, and I will say apply. Now see what happens. It says generating your app. That means under the hood, Screen Builder is creating my app. And navigation, include this view in the app navigation. Well, it's up to me. I can include it or not include it. So the title, it is taking a big one. So I will just say home. Let me keep it back to home. Right. On the right hand side, if you notice here, I have views, I have navigation, so I can decide how I want my navigation in my project. There's data and there is themes, right? So I can go in and then click on navigation. You see here it says, do you want to have the navigation in tab menu way or do you want it in drawer? So let me show you what happens when I click on drawer. So if I say dryer, notice what happened to this app here. I will get a dryer here, you know. Oh, there you go. So I got the dryer. So dryer has this home navigation. I can go there. Or maybe I don't want the dryer. I want the list view, list menu. So I can click on list menu and the home screen will get, you know, completely into a list menu. So I can go to index and there you go. Here is the list. I can click on home and it goes to home. Well, let's keep it for tab menu. I like the tab menu, and I can say, and also we give you all this concept of, you know, what should be your initial view, what kind of transition do you need. So we give you a lot of transitions here. So you can, you know, select from overlay to slide to zoom to fade, right? I'm going to keep it to slide. That's the usual thing. And I will say apply. Now let's come back to data. Remember we selected the data provider, which was the whatever the Northwind Traders backend that we had created. So it is already put up a default data provider, and then it is set up that. And not only that, we support you online. We provide online support to you out of the box. If you see here, it says enable offline support. You must enable the network information plugin in the app builder project properties in order to for the app to know when it is offline or online. So that is fine. So I'll enable it. So we are done. Now let's go and then start adding views. So what I want to do is I want to have a view where Northwind traders will be actually able to show all the products that they have. So I'm going to go in and then I will say data. So notice what we have. We have authentication and we have form, we have about screen, and we have data list. So I'm going to select data list and I'm going to rename this as products. And notice here in the navigation, it is asking me, do you want to include this in navigation? I will say yes, and I'll pick up a particular, what icon should I pick up? Let me pick this, that's okay. And then now, data binding. Remember I talked about codeless data binding? There you go. So we had set up the provider, and notice that it has figured out that we have the products table. Now I'm going to say content type that I want is products, and I can now start designing my item template. So I want a heading text, and then I want a subheading text. In the heading, I want the product name, and in the what do you call? In the subheading, I want to get unit price. Okay. Not only that, notice here what it says. It says master details. So yes, when I click on a particular product, I would like to go to a details of that particular product. Well, let's go and then create a details view. So when I create a details view, in the details screen, what is the header I want? The header should be product name. What is the subheading text I need? Well, let's select a unit price for now. What is the description that I need? Description, maybe we will say quantity per unit. Well, that's it. And not only that, since the products is going to be a list view, it is asking me, hey, do you want a pull to refresh? I'll say yes, I want to have a pull to refresh. Now everything is done. Let me click on apply. Keep looking on the right hand side what happens. It's generating my app, and we should get the UI in a moment. Huh, what happened? Let me just refresh. And there you go. So I don't know what happened, but yeah. And what do you get? So we are getting the same data. Let me go back to the products and then show you what products we have. Let me go to platform.telerik.com in another window. So what I'm trying to tell you is, notice here on the right hand side, I have the drop down list coming, sorry, the list coming, mobile list view, and it is showing me all the products that I have. And then remember the subheading that I had selected was, I want to know the unit price to be coming up here as a subheading. And then not only that, take a look at this, release to refresh. It is doing a refresh now. And take a look at the bottom here. So I have home as one view, and then I have products as another view. Well, what I wrote zero code, right? And let me show you back the Northwind Traders project. And let me go to the backend. And let me go to the types quickly. And we have products. And in the products, we will see chai, all the same things coming, right? So take a look at this. Let me reorder it by ID. And here it is chai, chang, any seed syrup. So the same thing, chai, chang, any seed syrup, Chef Anton's, Cajun. Well, that's it. So this is as easy as it can get in Telerik platform. I don't have to tell you anything more. So let me quickly add one more, and that is I want to add a data list again, and I want to call this as suppliers, and maybe this is suppliers view. And in the navigation, I would like to put maybe a cart. And in the data binding, I want to select suppliers. And in the item template, no image or icon because there's no this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the company name, and in the subheading, I'm going to put the city so that people know, like, what city their suppliers are available. And in the master details, I will enable the master details. In the heading text, I will have the company name. In the subheading text, I will have the city, and in the description, what I will do is I will get the contact name or maybe address, right? And let me say, and in the configuration, I will say pull to refresh and apply. So it's generating my application now, and we have the suppliers coming up, right? Of course, I'm showing a very basic scenario wherein it gets you started. Take a look at this. I have three what do you call tabs now: home, products, and suppliers, and then I'll be able to now go in. Well, now we are done with in a very initial thing. So now let me show you this concept. So we have tab menu. Maybe I want to do a drawer, right? So let me click on drawer, and then now what we will see is there it is. So on the top we have the hamburger menu, and if I click on that, I will get home, product, supplier. So this looks nice, so let's keep it like this. Well, I don't like the home view to come up first, so what I will do is I will set up products to be the first view. So here is product. So okay, this guy will need to reload so that to see whether he's getting the products or not. So now, okay, it's still coming suppliers because this is the what do you call screen builder. But when you actually run the app, you will see that products is the first page. Now on the data side, yeah, we have added. So if you want to add some more data, so here is how you can do it. You can come in and then add custom, like a backend services, progress data service, or an enterprise data provider. So soon we'll be enabling the enterprise data provider, which is nothing but connecting to a Salesforce or whatever it is. And here is another interesting fact. Currently, I'm using a theme called Flat. Let's say you don't want to use a flat theme. So what you can do is you can say native theme, meaning this is using Kendo UI framework. So if I use a native theme, now this code is running in iPhone. It is simulating an iPhone. Right? If I can click on chai, notice this, I'm able to get into chai. And if I come back and then say, hey, how does it look like in Android? So I can come here and then say Android phone, and then right on the right hand side you will see like the whole UI turns to black, because that's what the native Android look and feel is. And notice where the hamburger menu went down. I can click on suppliers and I will see the suppliers now. I can click on a particular supplier and then I will see the data coming up for that. Right, I can also, let me go back to iPhone. I'll keep it to flat. I'll keep it to flat and then say apply. So with flat, what happens is irrespective of the platform, it's going to look and behave the same way. That is, you'll always get the hamburger menu on top, and then you can pretty much do that. And notice I can click on each item and then I get a details view also, right? Now what I can do is, this is fine. I can actually come in and then open this in an app builder, right? So it is asking me to commit, and then I can commit. So now the whole browser will turn itself into a code editor. On the right hand side you see a solution explorer coming up, and then notice what has been done by the screen builder. Screen builder has gone ahead and then written all the code for us. Supplier view, take a look at this. So this is the HTML that it has generated, and here is the code that it has generated for the backend, right? There is a details.html, there's index.js. All the code has been done by the screen builder. I did not had to do anything. All right, now I'm going to do an interesting piece here. Recently we released a new theme called Nova, which is completely a modern theme. So I will say manage packages, and I will come here and then select 2015.2 version of our Kendo UI. Come on. I don't know what happened to the, okay, there you go. So I'm going to select Kendo UI Core 2015.2, the version, and then I'll say install. And it's going to go ahead and then install this Kendo UI package for us, and it's been done. Let me close this. Whatever we were able to do it on, what do you call the screen builder, you can still do it here. So this is for advanced users, for the coding guys like me, you know, who doesn't like this art of creation. That's fine, but I'm just trying to tell you all the possibilities are available. Screen builder gets you started. You can then come in, tweak it, in all those things. Okay, I need to do one more change, and that change is go to app.js. So this is the tweaking that I was talking about, right? I can come back here and then say Nova, and click on this and simulate on an iPhone. Now you will see a completely different theme, and it looks very modern. There you go. So take a look at this, products, and wow, look at the dryer that came up. So I can click on suppliers. I will get the suppliers now. I can click on exotic liquids. They are in London, 40 Gilbert Street. Then I can go to products and take a look at any seed syrup maybe. So it's priced at $10. It's a 12 to 550 ml bottles, right? So now this is what, now I can go back to, and I can open this in screen builder. So you can go back and forth now. Let me do this. I'm going to open it up in screen builder now. We are already at 1 hour mark, so I still have a lot of things to cover. So give me another 10 minutes or so. We'll go through these things quickly. Take a look at this. The moment I went ahead and then added our Nova theme, now I'm able to actually see the same theme coming up here. So this was all about the theme builder, sorry, screen builder. So quickly visually assemble apps out of pre-built views. You can configure via properties, connect to data codelessly, and all those things. This is how it looked. So that's the demo we saw. And then offline support. In fact, when you're creating so let me show this. So when you're creating our, what do you call the, using the screen builder, when you add a data provider, like I just added the data provider what we had, the backend, it automatically adds a concept called as offline. So let me show that. Let's take a look at app.js. Where is it added? And okay, it's here in the data providers and default provider.js. Okay, here it is. So what do we give is when you use our Telerik backend services, we have an SDK which is a JavaScript SDK. We also have SDK for .NET. We also have SDK for iOS. We also have SDK for Java, I mean Android. So you can actually connect to our Telerik backend services from any of the platforms, that is either JavaScript or either through Objective-C or through .NET or through Java, right? But with our SDK, what we have done is we have added the concept of offline support. now when Northwind Traders application is used by somebody, and they went to the product screen and all the products have been downloaded, next time when they're not available online and they still want to take a look at all the products, well, since the app is being developed using our Telerik backend services SDK, the SDK has already cached the data locally. So when offline, it stores the app data locally, keeps tracks of changes. I'm just showcasing an example of reading, but you can do full CRUD. So when you do full CRUD, our SDK tracks all the changes, keeps it locally. When online, it will sync changes to the server. So you can actually decide where do you want to store the data. Is it a local storage? Is it file system? Or you may want to write your own custom implementation of storing. So it's up to you. You can we give you all these three features, right? So in order to showcase this demo, it is already coded for you. If you take a look at this, it is using our so don't get confused. The Everlive is our code name for Telerik backend services. We like the name, so we kept it as is in the SDK. So Everlive, if you see here, we have set offline storage is equal to true. There's an API key, and then we are listening to online and offline. So when it is online, we're gonna go and then say like, hey, data provider, you're offline, so sync. And then when you're when you're online, we say like, you're online, and then you go sync. When you're offline, we just go and then set the provider to offline. That's it. That is all you need to do in order to provide offline support in your hybrid mobile applications or in your native mobile applications. So because we give you .NET SDK, so if you're building a Windows Phone app, you can use the our backend, use the backend .NET SDK, and that's it. Your Windows Phone is now provides you an offline support, right? So that's as quick as you can do. Now that was the offline support. Now here's an interesting thing, App Manager Live Sync. So basically App Manager is nothing but it's a secure container to manage apps. What Northwind traders wanted to do was before they put the app onto marketplace, they wanted their the employees to go actually play around, take a look at this, how they feel it, so get the feedback from them. They wanted to do that. So they wanted a secure container which can be accessed only by their employees. So what we give in Telerik platform is known as App Manager, and Live Sync is our kind of a fantastic service that we have. It's a distribution service. What it does is it pushes updates immediately. You do not have to wait for the marketplace update. Rather, you push your update immediately and it goes to the application. It goes to anybody's device immediately. And there is an in-app notification available for update. No App Store update required. Apps deployed via public or private stores are also supported. And you can also easily roll back an update. So let's try doing this quickly. Let me give you a demo. So what I'm going to do is, let me stack my browser to the left here. And I have a Nexus device that I'm using. As you can see here on the right hand side, I have a Nexus device here. Just to show you that it is not a static one. I'm actually clicking on the home screen and then going back and forth. So that's what you see here. On the right hand side, I have my Nexus. So now what I'm going to do is I already have installed. We provide something called as App Manager companion app for all the OSs. So if you see here on the first one, there is this App Manager. So I'm opening up my App Manager. If you see it says Telerik App Manager here. And let me go back to the homes here. So as you can see in the App Manager, I already published another app called Northwind app, so that's okay. So now on the left hand side, if you see here, I'm opening up my App Manager. So this is a portal that your enterprise can use. And I already published a couple of apps. What we allow you to do is you can set up your own user. So I already set up myself, and I've created a default distribution group, and Lohit has been added to the default distribution group. Let's assume Lohit GN is an employee in the Northwind, and the administrator who's logged in here, he wants to publish the app to all the employees now. So what he can do is go to App Builder and click on Publish App Stores, and notice here what are the stores that we provide. you can actually publish it to App Manager, which is our own secure container, or you can publish it to Google Play, or you can publish it to App Store, or you can publish it to WinPhone Store. Now, one important thing is you need to enable the live sync distribution when you're creating your package. That is what makes this in-house update available possible. So I'm going to select this, and I will select Telerik App Manager. It is asking me what package you want to create. Since I have a Nexus, which is an Android, I'm going to select only Android, and I will say next. And we need this certificate. I was created a self-signed certificate which is available till 33. That's fine. And then I'll say publish. Now what you will see is our platform is taking the code and creating an Android package, that is APK package, and then it is going to go and then publish it to our app manager. Okay, so it's now building. Let's give a second for it to build. And build is completed. Now it is uploading to our app manager. We're already 5 minutes overboard, so just give me 5 more minutes. We'll quickly go through the rest of the things. These are all some of the interesting stuff, you know. I'm more excited to do all this stuff because it's a completely revolutionizing things that we are doing here with our platform, and you're not on this, so you're missing really big. So there you go. So I can now go into App Manager. I'll say open. It is now opening my App Manager, and you will see my application published to our own container, right? And on the right hand side, we still don't see the app coming up. That is because I have not published it. So if you see here, it says NWind app version 1.0, and it says not published, right? What I can do is I can select on this, and then now I will say publish. So it says this app has not been published, and I can go in here and then say publish, and it is asking, hey, what do you want to do? Oh, I need to do one more thing. Let me get into edit. So this experience is pretty similar to what you would have done in any store, like, you know, Google Play or anything. Now here is the interesting thing, the distribution, right? Remember I said we have a default group, and then an employee called Lohit has been added to the default group. Now by default, nobody can access this application. Well, that is not what I want. I want people to access this application. So I said people, our default group can install this app, right? I'm going to save this, and I'm going to go into publish now. And do you want to distribute app by email? No, that's okay. Keep looking on the right hand side, and I have send push notification enabled. So I'm going to do publish. And there you go. On the right hand side, we have a push notification. It says a new app is available for you, NWind app. Do you want to see it now? Well, I want to. So our container, that is app manager container, has automatically gone in and then got this particular app. Now let me click on NWind app. There you go. It says download. Yes, I want to download. And it says, do you really want to download this app? I'll say download, and download is starting. And 1%, 2%, 3%, well, let's wait just for it to go over. I'm on a very low Wi-Fi today. Let's give it some second. It's at 22%. I'm having GoToMeeting running, everything happening. So let's give it a couple of minutes. So what is happening is our container saw that, hey, there is a new app available for Lohit. In fact, I've already logged into this app manager with a credential. And it is installing. You know, this is as easy as it can get. Let's wait for a couple of more minutes. So the app is installed. I'm going to open it up. And okay, you wouldn't believe what is happening. The SQL Server is actually located in Bulgaria. You know, it is actually, so when I said Northwind Traders, so they are in Bulgaria, and we have a SQL Server running inside their premises in Bulgaria. I'm currently presenting this webinar in Singapore. Okay, I'm currently in our Singapore office. I'm presenting this, and the device, the Nexus 7 device, is actually in Singapore, right? And what I did was I have gone ahead, created a mobile app, created a backend connectivity to the Bulgaria server, take a look at this. Now on my Nexus, I have Northwind Traders products coming all the way from Bulgaria, right? That's the whole concept of this whole demo. That is, you can use our Telerik platform and then mobilize your any enterprise data. Take a look at this. I can just go scroll through, click on chai, and it says I'm able to see the demo. Let me go back to suppliers. I can take a look at the suppliers, Grandma Kelly's home steed or whatever it is, right? That's what it is. Now let me show you live sync. Let's assume Northwind Traders comes back and says, you know what, this is fine, but I want you to make a change. What is that change? Well, in the products, I want you to actually go ahead and then, oh, sorry about this. Okay, what they wanted to do was, in the products, they want to change the title of the screen. That is a view.html. So what they wanted to do was, instead of products, they want this to be Northwind products. Okay, let me save this. Now, in order to submit a update to this particular app, I need to go pump up the version number. So what I'm going to do is, I will go right click on the project and go to properties. And in the properties, I'm going to say this is version 1.1. Okay, just to pump up the version to showcase that we can go ahead and then create a update. I'm going to create an update now. Right, I've saved it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and then say App Store. Same Telerik App Manager Live Sync is enabled. Next, publish. So what it is doing is, now it is publishing version 1.1 to App Manager. Okay, it is still not available to all the users on the device, but it is getting published to App Manager. Then I, as an administrator, can actually decide whether we want to push 1.1 or not. So I'm going to push now. So now it is getting uploaded. Once it is uploaded, I'm going to go to App Manager. Oh, we are already 12 minutes, so 10 minutes overboard. We still have a couple of things to do. So let's quickly get it done. So done, open. So in the App Manager, you will see now version 1.1 coming up here. So it is still not published, but it got uploaded to App Manager. Now what I can do is, I can come in here and then it says not published, and I can go and then say publish it, right? And take a look at this. It says users that installed this app. Well, I had added myself to the App Manager. It says, hey, it's already installed. So now I can go and then say publish, and I can say send push notification, publish. Keep looking at the right hand side. I will get a notification now. The notification is actually in the back. If you see here, the first one, it says App Manager, new update, nwind app. And what you will see is, you see this? There's a plus mark here. So let me show that. So if you see here, it says plus. That means there's an update available. So I'm going to go and then select on that. And notice the version number here. It says 1.1. Right? Now I can go and then say, hey, download this. And I get the new update, and then pretty much, I did not have to go through the marketplace. That's the concept, or that's the distribution service that we have, which is fantastic. I don't have to worry about anything. So for example, all I did was I changed just the title. For just changing a title, why do you need to go through everything, right? Of course, our live sync distribution has its things that you need to follow, meaning you cannot, there are a couple of things that in the documentation we provide, and then you can take a look at that. It's asking me, do you want to install? I will install it. So typically what happens is, your users have to go to marketplace and then get the update from the marketplace. But with our live sync, you do not have to do all those things. We give you the in-place update. Now it is installing. and it is done. I can say open, and we should see the updated title of the product screen, which says Northwind Products. And anymore, yeah, there we go. So now the title reads Northwind Products, right? Well, that's about the App Manager Live Sync. And this is another interesting thing. Let me quickly wrap it up. So I already have done a webinar on this native script, so I would encourage you to go through that. So let me point you to that. We recently did that. This is where was that? I think a couple of webinars ago. Yeah, so if you see here, there is a webinar known as Resources for Webinar, Build Truly Native Android and iOS Apps for Single JavaScript Code Base. So I go very deep inside this native script, what is it and all those things. But just to give you a high level view, with using just your JavaScript knowledge, you can actually build truly native apps with JavaScript. Not only that, our screen builder can actually build a native app with just whatever I just did with the hybrid app. You can do the same thing with native script also, the native app also. It's a open source software from Telerik, meaning it's free. You can build native cross-platform applications. You can use XML for the UI and JavaScript for code. It's a one single code base, literally one single code base, and supported in App Builder. Let me actually go and then show you this. If you go to nativescript.org and go to this showcases section, if you go to showcases, we have this showcase app called as Telerik Next. This is actually a application that we have built, and it is available on Google Play and App Store, and the source code is also available. So if you see here, let me show you from this my device. So I'm actually now opening Telerik Next. So we have built completely this event app using native script, and then it is completely JavaScript. So the code that we have written is a JavaScript, the UI is through XML, and you can build a native app. This is a native Android app. This is not a web view, or this is not a hybrid app. Take a look at this. It is very responsive. I can do all these things. I can click on a particular thing, it goes to the next screen. I can go back, I can click on this, there's a dryer coming up. There you go. I can look at the sponsors. I can look at what's next. I can look at this. I can get into all session. I can get into a session, do a share, right? I can share this. So here is a share charm that comes up. Well, as I said, so native script is completely JavaScript, and based on that, it is supported in App Builder and as Screen Builder. It's not a DOM. It's a truly native UI. I encourage you to go take a look at that. And of course, I don't have time to demo that, maybe, sorry about that. But as I said, here is a, where did it go? So here's a webinar that I've already done. Search for, build truly native Android and iOS apps from single JavaScript base in telerikhelper.net. And it's a 1 hour demo that I've done there, and you will be able to get in hold of that. Last but not least, we would like to make your life easier, so we will be announcing soon a marketplace for application templates. So there'll be a new Telerik marketplace for application templates. You can search and use templates in your apps. You can jumpstart your app development with the templates. When available, first template to go live is something called as Expensity. It's an expense reporting app. So it is coming soon. This is how it will look like. Basically, you will get a head start with all these things. The featured app that you will see is known as expense management, and this is the expense management, and this is how the screen looks like. Well, this is basically the end of the webinar. We call it a Reimagine the Enterprise Mobility with us. For more product information, you can actually go to telerik.com/platform. If you are a customer, enterprise customer, and then you would like to get in touch with us, you can always write to us at enterprisesales@telerik.com, or you can always write to me, lohit.nagaraj@telerik.com. Let me stop. We'll get the recording started.